How are we doing, everyone? Sam here, United People's TV, back in my studio, back where I want to be, talking about a certain Jadon Sancho, because right now, this afternoon, Manchester United have officially announced a deal to sign Jadon Sancho. How excited are you? Sorry, we talked about it last night after Fabrizio gave it those famous 3 words, but now the official announcement is out. Sancho to Man United is a done deal pending a medical going on that will happen after Euro 2020. So we won't see Jadon Sancho holding up that shirt just yet. But what I want to do in this video is talk about that announcement, talk through it, talk about a certain other player's announcement, which I think is also very exciting and linked to the Sancho deal, and also take a look at the formations next year and how we can see Sancho lining into it, because it's easy to forget how exciting a player we have just signed because of how long and painful this saga has been. But that's something we have to discuss in this video. As always, you let me know in the comments, boys and girls, where you're watching this from. I'll try and give you as many shout outs as possible. And make sure you subscribe if you're new, although if you're here right now, I'm sure you are a subscriber. Let's take a quick look at the comments, see where you're watching it from. We've got Jacob Halliday watching from Maine in the US of A. How you doing, my friend? We've got Kwame watching from Chattanooga in TN. Was that Tanzania? Not quite sure. Yusuf watching from Sierra Leone, and Matthew Moss on YouTube watching from South Africa. How you doing? And Footway watching from Gambia. How you doing, my friend? Let's head straight to the announcement, baby. This is the official one we've been waiting for. The deal is now done. Look at that, manunited.com. Jadon Sancho on the website. Yes, please. United reach agreement for Sancho's transfer. And it's a short and sweet message from Manchester United. Manchester United is delighted to announce it has reached an agreement in principle with Borussia Dortmund for the transfer of Jadon Sancho. The signing is subject to contractual terms and a medical, which will be completed after Jadon's involvement in the UEFA European Championship this summer. So that's it. It's officially on the website. Manchester United have announced it that a deal for Sancho has been done. How excited are you, really? Think about it and leave a comment and let me know what you think and how excited you are about this transfer. But as I said before, it's easy to forget amidst all the frustrations, the anger, the antithesis there's been towards Manchester United's dealings here with Jadon Sancho and how long it's taken to go through, for the fact that we have just signed one of the best young footballers in world football, 21, and his return last year, his return over the last few years has been nothing short of sensational. I'm going to pull up a few stats for you here just to really reiterate how impressive these numbers here. Good old Statman Dave coming in with the stats and figures as he normally does. But this one here, look at this. This is the sort of player that we've just signed, people. We've already got Cavani, we've already got Rashford, we've already got Martial, we've already got Greenwood, Bruno and Pogba. And then you're throwing a player like this into the team. Jadon Sancho was directly involved in a Bundesliga goal every 109 minutes on average last season, scoring 8 and assisting 11. And that wasn't even his most impressive season, but nearly every single game, Jadon Sancho contributed directly to a goal for Borussia Dortmund. And that sort of level of quality, that sort of level of player coming into Manchester United is huge. It's absolutely huge. And I'll tell you what, right? As excited as I am about the transfer, and you know how excited I am, and I know how excited you are, I genuinely think there's somebody that's almost more excited than all of us. Let me pull up this tweet, because I think he's had this tweet just sitting there waiting in the drafts for 2 years, basically, waiting for this moment where he can finally put it out. And that's Marcus Rashford, man. Straight away, family, Sancho, welcome, brother. As soon as that announcement came out, Rashford was there. And Rashford, he's good friends with Sancho. It's been known for a while. They've obviously had a link up with England, and not a massive link up this summer, I'll be honest, because Sancho's hardly played and Rashford's hardly played. Well, they've been technically linking up on the bench. But Rashford will be absolutely buzzing here to be having one of his good mates coming into the club and playing with him. And they both say, actually, no, Rashford's a couple of years older now. Actually, it's pretty hard to remember how old Marcus Rashford is because he's achieved so much already. Was he 23? Yeah, he's 23. Sancho a couple of years younger. But that link up there is going to be so exciting to watch. Rashford on the left, where he is at his best. Sancho on the right where he is at his best. And then I'm not sure who you're going to have through the middle for the majority of the season. Let's be honest, it was probably Cavani is the best option there at the moment. But Martial, the year before, was a sensational striker. Does that mean he's going to come back in and maybe do something inside the teams? Cavani going to play there for the whole season? I'm not sure if his body could cope with that. Is Greenwood going to be playing through the middle more? I don't know. But Marcus Rashford is just as excited as us fans to get Jadon Sancho in. And that's wicked, man. That's really good. You know, it's really important to like your team. And for a good few years, we went through a period of just having so many players coming in that you just didn't have a connection to. It's different with Rashford, and I think it's going to be massively different as well with Jadon Sancho when it comes in. If anybody here is new in town, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you drop a like on the video and share it if you're watching on Facebook. Let me give you a few shout-outs because, as always, you keep firing them in the comments. Got Dwight watching from Trinidad. How are you doing? You've got Emmanuel Garrick watching from France. Commiserations for Euro 2020. We've got SN Up watching from Zambia and Alan watching from Zambia as well. Kevin watching from Barbados. Wicked. I bet the weather there is lovely. And Sue Brettle watching from Nova Scotia in Canada. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. But the thing I want to do in this video, and actually, look, there you go. There's a comment there coming straight in from Nathan Pitt. Kind of leads me straight onto that. He's saying / Anthony Martial left wing, Enerton / Mason Greenwood as a striker, and Ahmad or Jadon Sancho on the right wing. Not bad at all. And that's exactly what I was going to do next, Nathan, because I think it's important now. We can take this conversation forward, can't we? We can start looking at the team that Manchester United are going to be playing next season, because I personally think this is the formation that we should be playing. It's as simple as that. I think we need to be playing a 4-3-3. I personally think that Henderson should be our number one. I think it's a time for David De Gea to move on. I've made my opinion on that very clear and exactly why I think that is the case. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you can, fire in your super chats because, as I said, there's too many questions and comments that come in. I can't really read them all. Fire them in with your preferred starting 11. But for me, if I was going to run through this quickly with you on this live stream, I'm obviously going Wan-Bissaka there. I'm obviously going Varane there because, you know, I'll speak about Varane in a minute. But Varane at the moment is looking like the most likely centre-back signing that United are after. That's exciting because I think Varane is a sensational player. I genuinely didn't really think that there was any chance that Ramos and him left this summer. But I think there is. I genuinely think there is. And if we're looking at this as a starting 11 for Manchester United next year, we are one player short, baby. But Sancho there on the right wing. Let me get it down to the comments here. So many people joining in. Sancho on that right wing, it transforms this. Let me pull this nice and full screen so you can see. There you go. It's been such a huge problem area for United. Jadon Sancho there is a natural right winger. And if we were to go over here onto SofaScore, Jadon Sancho, and we were to look at his heat maps from last year, I'm sure anybody who's joined these live streams before would have seen me talking about these heat maps already. But if you're looking at Sancho last season, he stays wide, man. He stays really, I mean, he played a lot on the left there, but he plays on the right-hand side and he sticks to his position, which is why this is going to make such a big difference to Manchester United's shape, because we previously had Mason Greenwood here or Dan James, and Greenwood's natural tendency was to receive the ball and run towards there, therefore creating no space, well, creating plenty of space here. Wan-Bissaka's trying to overlap, but he's got nobody really to link up with. It's just that the balance is all wrong when he had a person there who was more naturally inclined to cut inside. But someone like Sancho, who clearly, as we can see here, operates on the wings, he is going to come in and be a pure and proper winger. The most pure and proper winger we had there since Ronaldo. Obviously, Di Maria, but he cut inside. You had Valencia, he was a right back. You had Dan James, you've had Memphis Depay. I quite like Memphis Depay, but didn't really work out for him. Basically after Shaw's injury, I think. A super chat comment coming in here. Let me fire it up here and see what it says. We've got Mohammed saying we need Ruben Neves. I mean, we know we need Ruben Neves. I know we need Ruben Neves. Everybody, well, actually, not everybody. Not everybody seems to want Ruben Neves, which kind of blows my mind, but I certainly do. And I would love to sign Ruben Neves. But as you look, it's the balance that he's going to bring to the shape of this attack. It's going to be sensational. And I'll tell you what, Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to say it now, he's going to be our most improved player next year. I think he actually improved a lot this year, but because Luke Shaw was so good on the left-hand side, Wan-Bissaka didn't really get any sort of appreciation for how much he developed his game. But to have someone like Sancho, who will operate as a pure right winger and play there every single week, watch the partnership that builds between Wan-Bissaka and Sancho. And I think watch both of them become better players because of it. That's what I think anyway. But having Sancho there, hugging that wing, going down there, running to the byline, getting crosses in for someone like Cavani, whose movement is so sensational, they're having a player like Sancho to whip those balls in. Watch the amount of like little tap-ins, little scrappy goals that we'll score next year. Whether that's Rashford making a late burst here, whether that's Cavani simply holding his position, whether that's him cutting the ball back to Pogba on the edge, or Bruno even. Just watch the different type of goals we score next year, simply because Sancho is in our team, and therefore we have the ability to play it properly from the wings. Let me head down to the comments and see what you're saying. As always, keep firing in your super chats. Look at that there. Thank you very much, Colin. You're saying there's an article that says Man United are in talks for Neves. That's the article I want to see. Leave it in the comments, Colin, or actually tweet it to me at @SamPeoples_. I'll take a look later on. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. But look, you all know what I feel about a defensive midfielder and how important it is. It's the one position that we just have question marks over. Of course, we've got question marks over this one here. But at the moment, if you're looking at Rafael Varane, let me pull up the article here. I wasn't at home this morning, so I couldn't do a live stream, but I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow morning. So make sure you join me between 9:30 and 9:45. Rafael Varane. Let's have a look at it. This one's coming from ESPN. It's not just ESPN going for it, but today ESPN, they sort of stepped it up a little bit in terms of what they're saying of Manchester United's pursuit of Rafael Varane. This one's coming from Mark Ogden, who, you know, back in the day of when Fergie was manager, Mark Ogden was a very, very reliable journalist. I would personally say that his reputation has kind of gone down the pan quite a bit since then. He's certainly, the sources that he had and what made him a very strong journalist, I think they left with Fergie. That's what it looks like anyway. But this is what Mark Ogden is saying. Manchester United are close to signing Real Madrid's Rafael Varane. This is according to his sources. United are close to finalising a deal for the Real Madrid defender. Sources have told ESPN. The France international, whose contract is due to expire, is Solskjaer's top defensive target. And sources have said that United are ready to move for the 28-year-old after receiving encouragement that Madrid are prepared to negotiate a realistic fee. I mean, that's a bit weird considering the title of it is Man United are close to signing Rafael Varane. And then in the second paragraph, Mark Ogden then goes on to say United are ready to move for him. I think that's kind of what I mean when I say about Mark Ogden, you know, he's not as strong as he once was. But Rafael Varane certainly is the name that's getting linked about. And if we're going back to this formation here and we're looking and we're throwing Rafael Varane in there, look at that back five. I think Harry Maguire, I think, I'll be honest, I think he was over-criticised last season. I think he was hyper-criticised, which is what happens when you're a Manchester United player. You get hyper-criticised. But we've seen now with England just how good Harry Maguire is and how good Harry Maguire can be if he's got a partner alongside him. I think John Stones' excellent season with City and having that along, they're working well together. And bear in mind, Maguire's only just coming back from injury. And look, for him to be doing what he's doing, fantastic from him. Big up to Dark Prince here, as always. The king of the super chats, the king of the comments. Thank you very much, my friend. Saying, I think if AWB doesn't improve this year, we must go for a right back with experience like Tavernier at Rangers. First time balls will be so key to our attack. Tavernier at Rangers, I quite like him. That's a good shout. I mean, it's not a good shout to sign him, but I like him. I think that in a dream world, United would be able to afford that experienced right back to partner up with Wan-Bissaka this year, but I just don't think we're going to be doing it. I think we're going to struggle really to get a centre defensive midfielder and a centre back, let alone and another right back, and the fact that effectively Atletico Madrid won the Atletico Madrid won the league last year. They don't really want to lose Trippier, so they're putting a price of 20-30 million, which is outrageous for him, and they know it's outrageous, but they're putting a ridiculous price on him because they don't want to lose him. And I think that's why they're doing it. In the same way that last year, Dortmund put 120 million on Sancho. We don't want to lose him. You're coming with a ridiculous offer like that. I will. And an excellent comment here from Kuma saying, do you think Dior Sauvage is a masculine fragrance? I think it's Dior Sauvage is the one with Johnny Depp digging a ditch in the desert. So apparently it is. I mean, if you want to send me a bottle, I'll have a sniff. But I haven't got any, so I can't. Right, let's see where you're all watching this from. Let me go here. Adam Partridge. No, wrong comment there. Valentine, you're watching from China. Adam Partridge saying, you'll know Mark Goldbridge. Congratulations on spotting the fact that I'm not Mark Goldbridge. Excellent comment from you, Adam. Go down here. We've got Yahaya saying he's from Nigeria. How are you doing, my friend? We've got Surah watching from Benin. Good morning. Good afternoon to you, I think. Debunk watching from Stuttgart on YouTube. Make sure you subscribed, because I think you're new in town, Debunk. From Stuttgart saying, I think Martial will be eating Gucci with Sancho and Rashford flanking him. Class is permanent. That will be wicked, man. If next season Martial comes back and Martial turns it back a year, basically forgets last season and refines his own form, because that would be fantastic. I personally don't think that Martial's got a long-term future at the club anymore. I think we've seen enough from that last season to understand that you just can't rely on Martial as your number 9 in that. Look, it certainly flows better on paper there. Martial through the middle, but in that sense, so does Mason Greenwood. And I think we've seen from Mason Greenwood that he is going to become a centre forward. That's in my own personal opinion. I think you can see that he's far more comfortable with the ball at his feet in front of goal than Rashford is, than Martial is. He's just as comfortable as Edinson Cavani is. And I think because of that, I think you're going to see Greenwood operating more in a central position. And especially because you've got Jadon Sancho, who's now come in, who's going to be operating on that right wing. It should be Sancho there. Can you do 2 players in here? No. It'll be Sancho and Ahmad out on the right-hand side there. It'll probably be Cavani and Greenwood up here. And in my opinion, I think you're probably looking at Rashford and James here. I don't think that Anthony Martial is really going to be in the plans now for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think it's because he's had an opportunity. He's had more than an opportunity to prove himself. And he had that season where he was fantastic, but he didn't build on it. And he had a whole season to build on it. Oh, of course, he had injuries, but he just didn't build on it enough. And therefore, I don't think Solskjaer feels he can trust him anymore. Head down. There's another super chat coming in here from Anuj Sataka. Thank you very much, my friend. You're saying, shout out, bro. Big up. Need Varane and a classy defensive midfielder. We can then genuinely challenge for the title and the domestic cups, also the Champions League. Glory, glory. Man United. Thank you very much for the comment there, Anuj. And I completely agree. I think I said at the start of the summer, I said that we were 3 signings away from genuinely competing for the Premier League next season. One of them was Sancho. Another one is a defensive midfielder. And another one is a centre-back partner for Harry Maguire. Is that going to be Raphael Varane? According to reports, he is A, our top target, and B, is a player that we've been actively pushing and trying to get towards signing. And now that France aren't involved in Euro 2020, it makes it a little bit simpler for that to go through. Let's see what happens and develops there, because we've now got, 6-7 weeks before our game against Leeds, to 14th of August at 12:30 at Old Trafford. Remember that? That's first game of the season. We've got 6-7 weeks now, roughly, until then. We've got to get 2 signings over the line. And it's taken us 2 years to get Sancho, but the fact that we've now got Sancho and it's done and dusted, and will that be the most complicated one? I don't know. It certainly felt like it. Varane seems like an easy one to have, in the fact that Real Madrid will lose him on a free next season, in the same way that United will lose Pogba. Imagine that. That better not happen. But let's see what develops there. And something has to develop with that goddamn position. Defensive midfield right there. Let me pull it up. Sign a player there, United. Please, 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 please sign a player. Let me see where you're watching this from. Let me head back to the comments, as I always do. Got Lucas watching from Senegal. We've got Lucas watching from Senegal there. We have got Sam watching from Lisbon, or Martin watching from Lisbon. I'm not sure. Kip watching from the state of Washington. How you doing, Kip? Good morning to you. Hassan watching from Sweden. Nesbert watching from on YouTube from Botswana. Anybody here who is new in town, thank you very much for joining in. I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It's free. Get involved, become part of the community, and get in these comments. And make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, drop a like on the video and share the stream as well. Got a comment here coming in from too many comments. I've lost the bloody comment. There it is. Kuma saying, how do we join the channel? Not quite sure. I haven't actually set up any memberships on the channel. To join the channel, just keep sending in your super chats. That's the thing that helps me the most. I'll make sure to try and add a few. The regulars that I see, I'm going to add you as moderators after this live stream. I'm going to go back through. Dark Prince, mate, you're definitely a moderator. You're joining the absolute gang, the centre gang. But I'll tell you who else is joining the centre gang. Sancho. What do you think about Ahmed next season? Let me know. This will be an interesting one. I want to see from this in the comments below. What do you think we're going to be doing with Ahmed? Because Ahmed he joined for 40 million for Manchester United. He made a couple of appearances. He got that goal in the Europa League. It was against AC. And it was buzzing. And then he didn't really get used much. Really not much at all. And now we've just gone and we've signed Jadon Sancho. So we've got a right winger sorted. How do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to manage him next season? Do you think he's going to play regularly but play on the left wing? Or is he going to be the understudy to Jadon Sancho? I think for Ahmed, he should genuinely be very, very much excited about the idea that he's going to be playing behind Jadon Sancho, because young players have got to learn from people. Role models are key in football. It's why Eric Cantona was so crucial when the younger players were coming through, the class of 92. They had someone like him to look up to. And someone like Sancho is somebody who Ahmed can learn a lot from. He really, really can learn a lot from him. And I think he should be excited about that prospect. I think when it comes to football, players have to be ready to compete for their position with other players. Otherwise, complacency kicks in, complacency reeks out the place, and a player will not play up to their levels because of it. That's what I think about Ahmed. But let me see what you think about Ahmed in the comments below. We've got Anthony Smith saying, send Ahmed on loan to a Premier League club. Let me know what you think about that. Do you type yes or no if you think that Anthony's right, that we should be sending him on loan? Crypto EU, you're saying the same thing. Maybe a loan because he's a future star. Nathan, you're agreeing with me there. You're saying that he's going to learn a lot from Sancho, and I think he would learn an absolute lot. We've got Andy, you're saying get a few more minutes to Ahmed. I'll tell you what, though, like, no matter what happens to, well, maybe it depends what he gets sent on loan, but look at that squad depth and strength. Who have we got there? We've got Pogba probably competing with Van der Beek. You've probably got Bruno and Fred. We got Fred there. I don't really know who you put there. Probably here I'm going for McTominay and Matic. I think this is where you can definitely see where the clear weaknesses are. I'll tell you what, that's a nice comment, that one there. But I don't think it would have happened. If we had sent Ahmed out on loan to Dortmund for a year, maybe that would have been a good thing as part of the Sancho deal. But I think they're going to be getting a Marlon from the Netherlands. So I'm not really sure whether or not Ahmed would have got too many minutes. And that's actually the key thing about loans. Because a loan deal, on paper, a loan deal is a fantastic idea. But a loan has to work out for the player, a.k.a. that player has to play football regularly on that loan deal, or there's no point sending them out. So we could send Ahmed on loan to Juventus, and he just wouldn't get any game time. Or we could send him on loan to someone like, I don't know, Norwich, Brentford, someone who's just been promoted, someone who could come through. Brentford's got a hell of an exciting team. Ahmed to Brentford might be the better. But I personally don't think Ahmed's going anywhere. I think Ahmed's staying at Manchester United next season. I think he's going to be the understudy to Jadon Sancho. I think Daniel James, as we've seen at Euro 2020, Daniel James, we knew it anyway, but Daniel James is a natural left winger. He actually plays on the left. That's where he played before he joined United, but he's played more on the right-hand side because we haven't really had any options there. And I think that's kind of nullified his threat a little bit. So playing James out on the left, I think you're going to see Ahmed get plenty of games. Because remember, next year we're going to be competing in the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. As the season progresses, if we're doing well, we're going to be back to having 3 games a week for a long time. And next year, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really does want to compete in multiple competitions, he has to understand rotation better. I think that's something he has to learn as a manager. I think Bruno, 85 calendar games he played between June 2020 and June 2021. That's an insane amount of football. And it's no wonder he was looking tired towards the end. And so often during this season, Bruno looked absolutely exhausted, but Solskjaer still played him every single game. He can't do that next year unless he wants Bruno to burn out, which we don't want to happen. Therefore, he has to rotate the squad, rotate the players. Maybe not play Sancho every single week. Maybe play Amma. Because if you're looking here as a backup 11, what we got here? You can probably go. I'm not sure. I'd probably put Greenwood in my start 11, really. Van der Beek, you probably put him there. And this, for me, is where the idea of McTominay and Fred is good. Because I think McTominay and Fred, if you're looking at as a second 11 in cup games, ignore the back five because I can't be asked to change them. I'm just being lazy. Sorry. That's an excellent backup 11. That really is. Excellent might be a strong word, but that's good enough to get past the majority of teams in the FA Cup, the majority of the teams in the League Cup as well, and therefore giving our senior players time to rest up for the Champions League games, for the Premier League games. And hell, if any of these players play here and play really, really well, they force themselves in to that starting 11. Sancho coming in offers more balance to this team going forward. I'm so excited for it. And if obviously, let me run through the announcement. If you haven't actually seen it, look at that, man. On the official United website, Jadon Sancho, United reach agreement for Sancho transfer. How sexy does that look? How long have we been waiting for that, man? 2 years. Jeez. And they said Man United is delighted to announce it has reached an agreement in principle with Dortmund for the transfer of Jadon Sancho. The signing is subject to contractual terms and a medical, which will be completed after Jadon Sancho's involvement in the Euros. So England have got Ukraine on Saturday. If we crash out on Saturday, it will happen on Sunday. I don't think it will. I personally think we're going to be seeing England. I hope anyway. I'm backing England to go the whole way to the final. And that's on July the 11th. So I still think we've got a couple of weeks really. But the great thing here is that we know now for absolute certain that we're going to be seeing Jadon Sancho line up for Manchester United alongside Marcus Rashford, probably, in that starting 11 against Leeds. He'll be there for the first game of the season. He'll even be on our pre-season tour. He'll be settled in and raring to go, and he'll hit the ground running at Manchester United, back in Manchester, and not for the blue side. It's a bit like, so obviously it's different than when we signed Giggs, but we got Giggs from City, and that turned out to be a rather good signing. This one's a bit different given how established he is. But Jadon Sancho, I'm excited, and so is Marcus Rashford. Like I said this earlier, I'm not actually sure there's anybody who's more excited than Marcus Rashford is for signing Jadon Sancho. I think he's absolutely buzzing. Let me head down to the comments, and as always, give you a few shout-outs. If you're new in town, make sure you please like and subscribe on YouTube, and like and share the page if you're watching on Facebook. I'll give you 2 seconds to do it now. 1, 2, no, 4 seconds, 3, 4. There we go. Now I'm going to head to the comments and see where you're watching this from, because as always, you're watching all around the world. We have got we've got Iniobo watching from Nigeria. Emmanuel watching from Australia. How you doing? We've got Strongman Energy watching from Brooklyn, NYC. How you doing, my friend? I think you're the first person I've seen from Brooklyn. So congratulations on that one. All while watching from Nigeria. Good morning. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Got Trevor from Uganda watching on YouTube. Raymond watching from Brampton, Canada. And Ahmed watching from Casablanca, how romantic, in Morocco. King Norda watching from South Africa. How you doing, my friend? And Drip Gib watching from Barbados with Damien Clark watching from the sunny Surrey. But I'm just excited, man. I know I did a video yesterday, so technically I wasn't really announcing too much, anything massively new in this video. But as you saw from my video yesterday, it was a little bit impromptu because given where I was, and I'm back in my element here. And I like it. Do you like that? I like that as well. And I really, really enjoy doing these live streams now. I really enjoy answering so many of your comments, answering all your super chats that you keep firing in. And as I said, I want to say a big thank you to anybody who does send in the super chats, because it is a real big help. It's a big boost to the channel. There's lots that I'm going to be bringing to these live streams soon. I've got a completely new technical setup that I'm hopefully launching next week as soon as I've figured out how to get it on Facebook at the same time as YouTube, because that's proven difficult. But it's exciting. It's going to look a little bit sexier. And now we've got Jadon Sancho in. Who can we talk about next? We've got Camavinga. We've got Varane. We've got Ruben Neves. We've got... Who else we've been linked with? Geez, too many players. I can't remember. A couple of comments coming in, fired in. Nathan Pitt. Yes, Nathan, you got that spot on. I cannot wait to see Sancho score at the Etihad. Him and Rashford celebrating, jumping in front of Pep, who won the... Oh, no, he didn't win the quadruple last year. Oh, no. He mauls it all up. What a shame. But Sancho back at the Etihad, that's going to be a special game for him and a special moment to watch him come out in a United shirt and do that. And Dark Prince, big up to you. I respect that second 11 you put up at this point. But at this point, another McFred lineup would put me in the grave. Poor old McFred. As I said, I think McFred there is a very good squad set of players. I think Tommen and Fred can certainly do a job in State United, but given that we've got like Pogba in front of him and Bruno, and now we've got Rashford and Cavani and Sancho, you can't have McTominay and Fred as two holding midfielders. Simple as that. You got to match the level in defensive midfield as the level you're setting up front, and therefore we need to make defensive midfield signings. It is as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. As far as I'm concerned, anyway, you can't have that ambition in one area of the pitch and then be a cheapskate and not have that ambition in another area of the pitch. It doesn't make any sense. You have to match that ambition at every level of the pitch. Defense, in goal, in midfield, in attacking midfield, and in attack. You have to get it from front to back. And if you don't, you're going to have an imbalanced team, which is what we had last year. And that balance is something that Gary Neville has really banged on about, isn't he? But I think he's completely spot on. Brian here saying, I think Phillips from Leeds would fit in the DM position. I think Phillips, for me, has probably been the standout player from Euro 2020. And I said this, and I have said this all along, to be fair. I've not really understood the hype of Declan Rice. And I still don't think I do. Because if I was going to choose one of those two players and say that they were worth 90 million, I would say Calvin Phillips, not Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice did a good job against Germany, and Declan Rice has done a good job. But Calvin Phillips has done the same job and done it better, done it with more style, done it with more just quality. You can see it looks far more composed than it should, I would say, than Declan Rice does. And maybe, again, I'm being unfair on Declan Rice because I just don't want to spend 90 million on him. But I just do not think that United will spend 90 million on Declan Rice, given that we just spent 72 million on Jadon Sancho. So if you're only spending 72, that really is a great deal. Oh, look, there's some news coming in here. Let's have a little look at this. This could be interesting. This one's on Jadon Sancho there, and this one's on Rafael Varane. Let's go head over here. As always, you keep firing in your comments where you're watching it from. I'll try and give you some shout outs. Please send in your comments. Please send in your super chats. Like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. But sorry about that. Talking for 30 minutes. It gives you a dry throat. Should have got some water, but I didn't. Anyway, Jadon Sancho is understood to have asked for and will be given the iconic number 7 shirt at Manchester United. Now, you let me know in the comments here, what number do you think Jadon Sancho should wear at Manchester United next season? Let me know in the comments. Fire them in on YouTube and on Facebook, wherever you're watching this from. Do you think number 7 is the right shirt to give him, given the fact that we'd have to take it away from Edinson Cavani? Do you think that he should be wearing a different shirt and maybe going into number 7 shirt once maybe Cavani leaves after a season? You let me know what you think in the comments. I'll read a few of them out and I'll give my own opinion. But let's go down here. We've got plenty of you. There are a ton of you commenting here, watching. Oh, lots and lots of you are saying 7. Lots and lots of you are saying 7. Although Kevin Cole's saying number 1. Not sure David Hay will be too happy with that. We've got Rico saying 22. That's quite a few for 22. Is there any particular reason you're saying 22? Is that a number that he had previously? Let me know what about that in the comments below. But for me, number 7. Without a shadow of a doubt, I give Jadon Sancho the number 7 shirt. I've never seen a player that I think will do it justice more than Jadon Sancho will, in my own opinion. We've had, obviously, since Ronaldo, you've had, who was it? Michael Owen, Antonio Valencia, Angel Di Maria, Memphis Depay, Edinson Cavani now. Who else? Christ, I can't remember. But it's not until Cavani came in that shirt wasn't cursed. Post Ronaldo, that shirt was cursed. But for me, I can't see anything but good things for Jadon Sancho wearing that shirt. It doesn't really matter what shirt number. And unfortunately for me, I don't really care about the shirt number 7 anymore. I used to really care about it. It used to be so symbolic to me as a United fan, but it's had so much shit for so many years now that it's just, for me at the moment, at this moment in time, it's just another shirt number. It's just a shirt number. So for me, I don't really think it matters that much. Not at this particular moment in time. Sancho is going to be just as good wearing number 7 or wearing number 93 on the back of his shirt. Because for me, as I said, it's lost. Oh, geez, Christ, Sanchez. Everyone's mentioning Sanchez. Look, that's how bad Sanchez was for United. It doesn't even exist in my memory anymore. It's just a black hole where Alexis Sanchez was. The single worst signing we've arguably ever made as a football club. Good God. Ugh. I threw up thinking about that. But moving on from that lovely Sancho bit of news. And let's go to this one here, which is quite interesting. This one comes from Jonathan Schrager. Obviously, if you don't know who Jonathan Schrager is, works with Straight News, works with the guys over there, good lads. And he's had plenty of leaks from his starting 11s this season, so he's got sources somewhere. No, who knows where they are, but this is what he's saying. Rafael Varane's discussions with Manchester United are going slowly. The conversation is open and ongoing. Talks are being held, and with PSG too. While there is also the option that Varane stays at Real Madrid, all options are currently being explored. So effectively saying absolutely nothing there. That's terrific. The all options are open. You let me know in the comments now. If they're the 3 options that could happen with Rafael Varane, you've got he signs for United. He signs for PSG. He signs an extension with Real Madrid. Which one of those 3, in your heart of hearts, which one of those 3 do you think is actually going to happen? You let me know in the comments. You type in Varane and whether you think it's going to be United, PSG, or signing a new deal. It could well be the new deal. It really, really could. It all depends on how much they're offering him. And the fact that Ramos has left means that there's more of an opportunity, I think, for him to take that position that Ramos has left. And therefore, I think he could absolutely stay, even if staying wasn't the option that he had in his mind. Of course, he could go PSG. They've got Donnarumma. It's PSG. They've got money coming out their ears. They've got Neymar. They just signed into a new contract. They're going to try and keep Mbappe as well. That could easily happen. But if United, man, if we can go in with a good enough offer, with a good enough proposition, maybe. Look, with Varane, I'm not getting too excited about it until I see somebody really that I trust coming with some really strong news on him. That's what I want to see about Rafael Varane. I want to hear Fabrizio talking about him. I want to hear David Ornstein talking about him. I don't know, Mohamed Bahafsi. I want to hear something from him as well. But for me at the moment with Varane, I'm being tentative. I'm being very tentative. Now, that's a very good comment. Wicked comment there from Tevin Jones. Would you trade Paul Pogba for Varane if the offer came up? Now, you're going to have to let me know what you think about that in the comments. Type yes now or type no now. Would you bring Varane in if it meant Pogba was leaving? Or would you stay because remember that Pogba's going to be leaving next year on a free transfer if he does not sign a new contract. And that means Manchester United will not only have lost him once for free, we might lose him twice for free. That's outrageous. And it's down to poor club management that United have let it get to this situation. I wonder whether Paul will sign a new contract. There's been conversations about it, but it came out a few weeks ago, I think, that there's no offers that have actually gone into it. But let me know what you think about this in the comments, because that's a fantastic question. Let me go down here and see what we're saying. There really are, oh my God, there are so many comments coming in. Anuj, you're saying no. Mercedes, Ching, you're saying no. Kwasi, you're saying no. Got Dhruv, Rajvinder, you're saying no. K Valentino, no. But then Will Hansen comes in, says, I will trade anything for him. Cyril says yes. Panda G says no. No's everywhere. I would say, scrolling down these comments, doing a quick bit of maths in my head. I would say we're looking at 75% of you are saying no. Roughly. Although there really are so many comments coming in. I can't keep up with these comments. I love that shit. That's awesome. I think we've seen the best of Paul Pogba at these Euros. We really, really have, man. He operated in such a position that he would just had the freedom to go and do what he wanted to do. And my, did he do it well. Paul Pogba was absolutely sensational for France this summer. But if we're going to lose him for a free, what do we do? What do we do? Because look, if you look at this position, if you look at this heat map from Pogba during the Euros, shout out. Can everyone go on Twitter and just do @SofaScore and saying you should sponsor United People's TV? Because I use them all the time, man. They should be paying for this shit. But look at Pogba's average position during the Euros. See how much further forward he was. At United, I would say his average position probably hangs around the left part of the centre circle at United. Whereas you get someone like Kante who sits behind him, and Rabiot. Actually, no, I don't know. I think Rabiot was like left wing back, wasn't he? I'm not sure. But get those players to sit behind Pogba, and you will see that sort of Pogba that we saw during the Euros. If you don't, then you're going to get a Pogba that kind of floats in and floats out of games. But would I trade Varane for Pogba? I don't think I would. If I'm being completely honest, if I really thought about it, I don't think I would. But United so desperately need a centre-back that it's something that you'd have to mentally consider. You'd have to really think about it, because it's just, that's how much United need a centre-back. I don't know. Right, there are literally thousands of you watching right now. If you're watching on YouTube and you're new, make sure you please hit that subscribe button down below, and please drop a like on the video. Send in your super chats. They all help. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you drop a like on the video as well. Over 1,500 of you done it so far. Drop a like on it and share the stream as well, so other Reds can come in and join. But let's quickly do a nice little roundup of the news, because I like doing the roundup. And the roundup is very fun. It's very exciting. We've waited a long time for it, and now it's through. United have reached the agreement for the Jadon Sancho transfer on manunited.com, baby. Look how good that looks. That's so exciting. And Marcus Rashford, family, welcome to Manchester United, brother. He is so excited about playing with Jadon Sancho. It really is so obvious for me. And I find that awesome, if I'm honest. I find it awesome that a player is just as excited about a signing as us fans are. And those sorts of signings will be massively good for morale in the team. We've got an English core there now. We've got Rashford there. We've got Sancho. We've got Greenwood. That's wicked. That's a front three that could be there for a long, long time at Manchester United. I don't think Rashford's going anywhere. Sancho's coming back to Manchester. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. We've got a team here which is setting up. And as I said, we're one or two signings away from really competing for the Premier League next year. Let me see where you're all watching us from in the comments. We've got a comment here from Stephen Mitchell on YouTube, watching with his daughter in Wales. How are you doing? Hello to Stephen. Hello to your daughter as well. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope you're just as excited as Marcus Rashford is about Jadon Sancho signing. Let me see where else you're watching this from. We've got Jonathan Doa watching from Liberia. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you very much for joining in. Right, you let me know in the comments now where you're watching this from, and I'll try and give you as many shout-outs as possible before we wrap this live stream up, because we've been going for plenty of time. And look at that. Hoy watching from South Sudan. We've got Andre watching from Jamaica. Chad watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Tavish watching from Mauritius. I hope you're not lying, and I hope you're enjoying it. On the beach in Barbados, says my life. Watching at work in the bookies. It's the sort of thing we want to see. Big up, Rene. And Nappy Boy watching from Nigeria. Look, thank you all for joining in today. I love doing these. I really genuinely do. I want to get as many of you involved directly in the community as possible on YouTube and Facebook. Before I wrap up, drop a like on the video, please. Subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. Thank you, everyone, who sent in your super chats during this live stream. I always make sure to read out every single super chat live on screen to get your name on screen and you involved. So thank you for sending those in. Jadon Sancho is official, man. That's exciting. I think we're going to have to do some videos next week. Definitely going to have to do a video when we see him holding that shirt up, baby. I'll be doing another transfer video tomorrow morning. There's obviously going to be some chat about Varane. Let's have a look at Camavinga. I haven't done my full story on Camavinga yet. I apologize for that, but that will be done very soon. So make sure you subscribe to United People's TV. Make sure you stick around. Thank you all for all your comments from all around the world and all the likes and engagements. It's great having you here. I'll be back tomorrow, so you won't have to miss me too much. Until next Sunday.